Hello! How is it possible for a biotech company to survive 2 crashes of more than 80% and then rise 24x in just 2 days? Did we have any clues here that hint a potential rebound in this stock price? What lessons can we learn from it? Let's take a look in today's video. Stay tuned, this taxi is taking off. Welcome to TaxiBiotech, a show to keep up with the latest news and updates from the world of biotechnology and to learn about its impact on the stock market. The stock data I present here is just a reflection of how companies or their clinical trials are progressing and does not constitute any investment recommendation. This is purely for entertainment. First of all, guys, for catching these massive rebounds, you need to learn, you need to study patterns, and you need to understand biotech companies. That's why we are here. I do the hard work and you get it all in 10 minutes. So please, let's show some love and support down in the comments. In our learning journey through the top 3 biotech company of this week, we've got the case of Spruce Bio, SPRB ticker. They have 2 therapies in their pipeline, and one of them is related to Sanfilippo syndrome. Their treatment works by replacing the missing enzyme in this patient, and I'm going to explain this chart in detail. Let's go step by step, starting in 2023. Back then, they announced they had complete patient enrollment for another different disease and that they would present data in 2024. In January 2024, they said everything was going according to plan and that results would come out in March. As you can imagine, the stock went up 250% from December to March. However, when the announcement came, it was disastrous. The study failed to meet its primary endpoints, and they also announced layoffs. So the stock collapsed 86% here. You know that saying, a stock that has fallen 80% can still fall another 80%. Welcome to biotech. That rules applies perfectly here. This year, in 2025, we have another 82% drop in this company. Why? Interestingly, it happened when the company acquired the license for the enzyme to treat Sanfilippo syndrome. Even though their press release stated they plan to seek approval in 2026. The market didn't like it at all. They bought the molecule from BioMarin and agreed to pay 122 million in milestones as they hit certain stages. The market saw that as a bad deal for Spruce Biotech, but BioMarin's shares went up. Okay, so fast forward here to July 24th, marked here by this dotted line, the company announced a split stock reverse. That means every 75 shares were consolidated into one. This is usually done to meet Nasdaq minimum price requirement of at least $1 per share. Then, on August 14th, Spruce surprised everyone with great news about the Sanfilippo program. They report that the enzyme replacement therapy has shown long-lasting efficacy and safety with positive results on the brain and cognitive function. Check out the graphs. The therapy works from the first 6 months and stays stable, and look at the improvement in cognitive ability. The difference is huge. Yet the stock here didn't react to this news, marked here with this green arrow. Nothing happened. In their financial report the same day, 14th of August, they report that they also confirmed that they were moving forward in the approval application for 2026 for this molecule, and that they would remain listed on Nasdaq, but the price didn't change. So why did the stock suddenly go up 24 times from $7 to $245? Because the FDA grant them Breakthrough Therapy Designation. The market saw that as a strong sign that they are moving in the right direction toward approval. And boom, overnight the stock went 24x. But let's be honest though, this post on X from this user also helped push the price up. That user is very influential, and with so few shares of SPRB in circulation, it's easy for the stock to be moved upward by a wave of hype. So, what can we learn from this movement? First, yes, it's true that after 80% drop, you can still fall another 80%. Yeah. But second, if we spot a tiny company like this one with a 6 million market cap that's been through massive setbacks yet managed to recover and deliver solid data, we might expect this kind of explosive rebounds. Not 24x, but maybe 2x, 3x, 4x. So let's take note of this kind of setups for the next time. Now is the time for Q3 earnings, and I will look for companies like this in X. So follow me on X. Alright, moving on. Next is Quoin Pharmaceuticals. This week it jumped 40% in a single day. Why? First, take a look about their pipeline. Their most advanced molecule is in phase 3 for Netherton syndrome. Earlier, Quoin announced that the FDA had granted them Rare Pediatric Disease Designation for their treatment of Netherton syndrome. At first, the stock barely moved just 14%. This could be huge for S&P 500, but for a biotech company, it's a tiny movement. Then they kept sharing positive updates. The FDA gave them the green light to continue the phase 3 trial. And they even appointed a new CFO to prepare for commercialization. But the real explosion came on Friday, when they revealed that the institutional investors in healthcare had invested more than 100 million into the company. The market saw that as a huge vote of confidence. When professionals from the sector put real money into a biotech, it matters. These investors bought shares in several rounds, up to $12 per share, and now the stock trades at more than $20 per share, so yeah, not a bad deal for them. Analysts are now estimating potential revenue of 420 million annually if the drug gets approved, while the company's current market cap is only 12 million. So let's think about it. As always, I leave links to the press releases and X post down in the comments. And finally, we've got Galecto skyrocketed over 600% this week. Not a bad week for biotech stock, right? In this case, it's not entirely clear why. I found a SEC filing showing that one of their main investors sold shares in batch up to $21, which happens to match the exact price range during the surge. Now, I don't want to speculate, but some people might suspect that this fund helped push the stock up just to exit at a better price, just around this price. Anyway, that's all we've got for today. And here are the takeaways. From now on, let's keep an eye on tiny rare diseases companies that have been beaten down but start showing strong new data. They are like those quiet beaches that seems lifeless at a first glance until you discover one of the best experiences you can have. Just like Playa de las Catedrales here in Spain, and that's where today's Biotech Taxi drops you off. See you next time.